All right, for today, what we're going to be doing is breaking down the interview process. And we're going to start with the beginning of that, which is establishing what you need. I'm Michael Darman, CEO of SellState, and let's give you the 5 points you need to establish what you need when you're hiring. First part of the process of establishing what you need, before we really dive into that, we're actually going to back up a little bit and establish the idea that you need to take your time when hiring. The first thing you really need to do is establish or come to terms with the fact that hiring is a pain.
You say we interview you.
All right, yes, that's a sometimes useful exercise. Please put your hand down.
It takes a lot of time. Very few people enjoy doing it. It's not fun. But with that said, it's very important that you do take your time with the process. You need to plan time to be able to interview people. You don't want to just rush into this. You need to establish the fact that this could take you weeks, if not months, to find the correct candidate. One thing to be very conscientious of is that hiring the wrong person for the sake of being quick, in other words, well, whoever I have here today is better than waiting months to try and find somebody better down the road. But the challenge with that is you hire that person, you bring them in, you introduce them to everybody, you get them trained up, you get them in a role, you start relying on them, and then for one reason or another, it doesn't work out and you're starting the process over. So what you've essentially done is actually wasted more months. So believe it or not, by slowing down the process and taking your time, you actually speed up the process overall. All right, the second important thing we need to look at is what is this person going to be doing? Is this going to be replacement of a role? So in other words, you had somebody in a position and for whatever the reason that person didn't work out or that person left or is leaving and you need to replace that role. Or is this a brand new role to the organization? Now, if it's a replacement of a role, don't just look necessarily at a one-to-one. This can oftentimes be an opportunity to upgrade. Perhaps there's tasks that that person wasn't doing because they didn't have the skill set. Maybe that role had evolved over time. So don't just look at it necessarily as a straight one-to-one. You want to actually think about what is this person going to be doing. If it's a new role to the organization, you need to be thoughtful of that as well. Okay, this is a new opportunity. This is a new position. Is this a full-time position, a part-time position? What are all the tasks that are going to be involved? I think I want full-time, but do I have enough for this person to do full-time? These are the kind of questions you need to do. So the next important step is really establishing what is it exactly this person is going to be doing. All right, let's say for a moment that you're having trouble actually figuring out what the tasks are going to be for this person. And you're wondering, well, how do I piece this together? Maybe this is a new role in the organization and you know certain things you need them to do, but you're not really entirely sure. One of the best ways to figure out what the role that you need is to look at what you're actually doing on a daily basis. What are the tasks that you're doing that you realistically should not be doing? What are the tasks that are easiest to delegate off? What are the things that you're doing that you're actually really bad at?
I'm bad. That's good.
One good example is if you take a look at personality profiling, typically you're going to find sales and accounting on opposite ends of the spectrum. Salespeople like to be interactive, they like to be social, but they tend not to enjoy doing paperwork. Whereas on the other hand, people in accounting tend to be more comfortable looking at spreadsheets and working with numbers all day and are less effective in a sales role where they have to interact and handle objections and things of that nature. As an example, if you're a salesperson, you might want to bring somebody in to handle your paperwork. If you focus more on the back office kind of stuff where you are, you might want to bring somebody in that can handle the front office, handle the sales, handle the interactions, things of that nature. So one very important step is actually to diarize what you're doing every day and establish of the tasks you're handling on a daily basis or on a regular basis, what of that should be delegated or what of that could be delegated to somebody else. Very important that you do that, and that'll actually free up a lot of time for yourself as well. All right, and further establishing what we need around the office, take a look at some of the tasks that maybe are not getting done that should be getting done. For example, let's say you're hiring somebody for administration and you're thinking, okay, well, I know there's certain paperwork they need to do. Is that going to be enough to fill their day? Well, look at other things around the office. Things that perhaps the cleanliness of the office. We're not talking necessarily what a cleaning crew would do, but maybe just tidying up after a meeting, making sure the conference room always looks great. Ordering office supplies, that's a big one. Who's ordering the toner for the copier? Who's ordering paper? Who's ordering the supplies for the kitchen? Things of that nature. Sometimes these little tasks are things that don't necessarily take a ton of time, but could be added to the role. And that's very important that you figure out what all of these things are. Sometimes it could be Certain tasks like things around the holidays. Maybe you want to decorate the office, but nobody really has time to do that. So, oh, we just missed out again this year. So what you want to do is make sure you go around the office and think of all the other little tasks that could be added to this role, or perhaps not even necessarily added to this role. Maybe these are things that aren't getting done that should be a major part of this role, or at least an important part of this role. So as you're going around the office, make sure you take a look at all of these other tasks that could and should be done. That could be an important part of what you're looking for in this role. Okay, the last point we're going to cover today is the notion of, are you actually combining roles into one? And what I mean by that is sometimes you have a situation where you can combine multiple aspects together where it might make sense. For example, you might hire somebody for a marketing role that's going to be creating ad content or creating video content. Well, that person might also be your social media manager. And in that case, you can kind of think that makes sense. They're going to be creating the content and then they're going to be managing how it's shared and spread out. Sometimes, however, you might get in a situation where you're trying to combine roles that don't actually belong together. So for example, you might hire an admin, and that admin might be fantastic at all the tasks you give them. The paperwork, they're amazing. They keep the office nice and tidy. They order the supplies. They decorate. They do all the things we were just talking about, and that's wonderful. And then you think, hey, we need better sales. So I'm going to take this person who's doing an awesome job here, and I'm going to have them start making sales calls for me. Or perhaps when you're even at the hiring stage, you're thinking, well, I want to hire somebody who's going to be great at all these administrative tasks, but also great at sales. The challenge is those are often different people.
Same, but different, but still same.
And what you run into sometimes is you have somebody who is doing an amazing job for you at all these tasks, and suddenly you're frustrated because perhaps they're not doing great at this new thing that you put on them. So what you need to do is really think about the role you're offering here, and is it actually a single role? Is it multiple roles? If it is multiple roles, does it make sense that the same person with the same skill set would be able to handle them? Or is it going to be a situation where half the tasks are going to be great at and the other half is going to be the round peg into the square hole scenario? All right, so what we did today was look at how to establish what it is we need for help around the office. We covered 5 really valuable points. Be sure to comment below, like, subscribe, share. Until next time, this is Michael from Cell State.